What is up, everyone? This is episode 5 of the Scene and Screen podcast. I am Alan from AG Reviews, and I am joined here with two of my good buddies who I've been trying to get this pairing going. First, I'll introduce Mr. 180 Ronell. How you doing, sir?
Hey, what's up, man? What's
Good to have
going
you on
on?
again.
Thank you, man. Glad to be here.
Yep, absolutely. And then I got a newcomer on the show today, Mr. Justin, down below. Say hello.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to see this finally come to fruition. I know we've discussed
Absolutely.
this 8 years ago, maybe the idea of having
Yep.
a podcast talk about these type of topics. So it's
Yep.
nice to finally do it.
Finally do it, yeah. We talked about that last week. It's this is the other third of the group that we were missing, so it's nice to finally get us all on here and be movie nerds. So definitely looking forward to the show. So we'll kind of get into the topics today. First one wasn't originally going to be the initial topic that we talked about, but obviously with the release of the GTA 6 trailer, we got to talk about it. I know this is a movie and TV podcast, but when something this big happens, we have to bring it up. It's the game that everybody's been waiting for 13 years now at this point. And we got that news. I think it was either yesterday or the day before that it was going to be delayed another year. So by the time that it comes out, it is going to be 13 years since GTA 5. And I think Rockstar saw everyone complaining about that and decided to drop this trailer. I'll kind of just kick it off. I thought the trailer was fantastic. Some of the most realistic graphics that I've ever seen. And I know it was more of like the cinematic trailer. It didn't really show you a lot of gameplay. It was really more focused on the story, but I was just blown away. I watched it the first time at work on my phone, and I was like, you know what? I got to rewatch that when I get home on my TV, just so I could see all the details, everything on it. And it was nuts. I was blown away by that trailer. Right now, I know you're not that huge into GTA, at least anymore. How did you think, or what did you think of the trailer?
No, so remember I was saying I bought GTA 5 years ago, did everything I could in it and just put it down. And to
Yeah.
see this though is like, because I'm like, I'll probably never buy another Grand Theft Auto and all that. But then when I seen that trailer, it's like, man, they know how to reel you in every time.
Yeah.
I've never had to worry about Grand Theft Auto having like a bad story, uh, just not being fun. It's always been fun.
Yeah.
So you can kind of trust that Rockstar is gonna, Rockstar is just one of those companies that just kind of like delivers on stuff like this. So I'm excited. You're right. I'm not big on, but I think I'm gonna be playing it.
Yeah. I think the whole world's going to be playing it. Really, I already put in my PTO request, so I'll be off for that week, and just going in on it. So Justin, what about you? What did you think about the trailer?
I mean, I thought the graphics look insane for a game that's still a year. And I don't know if this what I saw was correct, but I saw something where it was mentioned that the gameplay footage was just taken from like a normal PS4 or PS5.
I think it was the regular PS5. Yeah,
PS5. Like that's crazy.
That's not even a PS5 Pro, not a PC, and we're getting those types of graphics. Like, insane. Did either of you guys play Red Dead Redemption 2?
Oh
No.
yeah, big time. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, like that to me, like when I saw, I mean, that was obviously 7 years ago in its own right. But it was 5 years after GTA 5. When I saw that, I'm like, okay, when we get to that next console and we get GTA 6, like this is gonna be some like next level stuff. I mean, I was blown away by the trailer, and like I said, it was only like a cinematic trailer, so nothing gameplay wise that we got, but I don't know what is going on here. Sorry. Cinematic wise, it was great. It looks like a damn movie, really. I mean, I know that's what we usually talk about on here is movie and TV, but that looked like a straight up movie to me. And like I said, my PTO request is already put in at work, and I will be playing that when that comes out. Hopefully, no one from my work is actually watching this.
Yeah.
Those like that, But and
Get
then
your time off, man.
yeah, right. I know. Hey, now I'm putting it in a year in advance. I better get it off. That's just where I'm at with it. I wonder too, like how many people are gonna request off for that week when it comes out, or
Oh yeah, yeah.
PTO
You
days.
already know.
Yeah.
You already know.
And then too, like I kind of like the story they're going with, where it's kind of like the Bonnie and Clyde type
Yeah,
thing with the two
yeah.
lead characters. I'm like, that seemed, because in 5 we got the 3 characters, and I felt like in some instances that was a little bit too much. Like there was a lot going on. In this one, I feel like it'll probably be a little more streamlined and connected. But yeah, man, I was blown away by that trailer. So, and then yeah, obviously too, they did this to cover up the delay. That was the whole purpose of
Oh, big
releasing
time.
that second trailer. Yeah, because they knew people were pissed like about the delay, and they were like, "All right, cool, we'll give you guys this new trailer just to kind of
Shut up.
to shut up." Yeah, right. Yeah, to get everyone excited again, and push the hype forward a little bit.
Well, it worked. I'll say that because
Oh yeah, yeah. It worked. I think it's up to like 34 million views. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's because
That's
I was
insane.
that was coming out this year because I'm still rolling with like my old Xbox One, and I kept telling myself I'll buy the new next gen console when GTA 6 comes out.
Yeah.
Okay, and I have to wait another year. But it might be worth the wait.
Yeah, it might be.
I don't.
It was
like bugs, so
yeah.
And that's a lot of problem with a lot of AAA games nowadays. So
Yeah.
Well, I like to hope that because of the delays that like they're like, hey, no, we want to make sure that when this comes out day one that it's working. There's no big issues with it. And two, like with Rockstar, I know the last couple games they did the story mode first for a while before they launched the online. So yeah, I think they're just putting a huge focus on getting it right. So hopefully that's the case. Hopefully in more than a year, which is freaking crazy with how long we've already waited. We get something really epic and worth the wait. So, all right. Anything else on GTA 6?
I'll add one last thing. You just theory that maybe because of how much money Rockstar has made on GTA Online, maybe they pushed it a year so they could launch the single player and the online parallel to make money right off rip.
Yeah. See, I don't know though, because I mean they could, but like I feel like they do that strategically where they don't start the online right away because then they want to get everyone to just buy the base game and kind of get addicted to it a little bit, and then once they know like everyone's wrapping up with the story mode, then they launch online, so that way everyone just kind of shimmies over, But you might be right. I don't know. Yeah.
Nowadays, people don't even play like the story mode is cool, but nowadays people want to like go straight to online. So you might be right, man.
Yeah.
They might just want you to. So yeah, I
buy it. Yeah, maybe buy it like for whatever you want to play it as. They're gonna do that right away and then kind of pivot. But for me that sucks. I love story mode. Like that's especially with a game like GTA, it's like, come on. Like that's one of the biggest things with it, I stopped playing GTA 5 online in like 2014, 2015. So I haven't, I haven't been playing that in forever. So yeah. All right. Well, yeah. Nothing else from you guys?
Nope.
Nope. Good. Cool. All right. So we'll move on. This was originally what our first conversation was going to be. Obviously, over the weekend, Marvel's newest, biggest film, Thunderbolts, released. Me and JD got to go see it together. We haven't really talked about it too much besides after the theater discussions. And then we really haven't talked with Ronell about what his thoughts on the movie were. So, Ronell, I'm going to have you start off and kind of give us what your thoughts were, what you liked, didn't like, vice versa.
Well, I don't think it was much I didn't like. I think I was more so totally shocked, like the whole I didn't think a Thunderbolt movie was gonna do this to me. And so when
Yeah,
I watched it and the fight scenes, Taskmaster getting taken out, to me
yeah,
that
and
was like, yeah,
we're
it,
going
it was like
spoilers. We're going
yeah,
spoilers,
yeah.
by the way. Anyone who's watching, yeah,
So Taskmaster to me being taken out was like we know we screwed this up. So let's just get this character
yeah,
out of here. And then
yep,
I told you before, like I like Wyatt Russell as U.S. agent. Dude,
yeah,
parts where he was just about to shoot, that's comic book U.S. agent. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? Like he
yeah. With
screamed first, asked questions.
yeah,
Yeah.
with Valentina,
Um,
yeah, yeah,
yeah. Old boy playing Red Guardian, always fun to watch. And then old girl, new Black Widow. Like, I
yeah.
forget her name. She does
Florence
a good
Pugh,
job.
yeah,
Yeah, I like her.
yeah,
But then Sentry, oh dude,
yeah,
I was like, I'm tuned in. I was like a little kid, man. Like
yeah,
they bring in Sentry, so I think Marvel. We was talking about how everything seemed kind of like sped up, but the delays on other stuff, or they had to
Yeah.
scrap other things, and so I think Marvel right now is just getting back to what we love. Not this
yeah,
little bull crap pansy fun. Like, no, we getting to some dark stuff because dude, he was dark,
yeah,
just like the comic books. And
yeah,
so I had fun with this whole movie, man. And of course, the end credit, which shocked me because I thought that would have been a mid credit, but it was an
yeah,
end credit. And
yeah,
seeing that, I'm like, okay, I know where they're going with it. So
yeah.
I'm gonna leave something for y'all, man.
Yeah, yeah. I kind of looked at JD in the movie theater, and like when Sentry kind of first comes out and he's fighting Thunderbolts, I looked at him and I'm like, dude, what is Doctor Doom about to do to this guy? Like he's about to be so OP going into Avengers. I'm like, this dude is
Dude,
like he's basically Superman of Marvel. That's what we're working
come
with
on,
here.
man.
Um,
With it, yeah, right.
yeah, and then I mean I'm not too familiar with like Sentry's comic run, but like the Void angle of it, I thought like played
Hmm.
really well into the storyline because obviously it was like
Oh yeah.
dealing with all their trauma and everything that they've been through and all the horrible things they've done. So I thought
Hmm.
that was really cool. Obviously, like you said, Florence Pugh's performance as Yelena, like she was brought in kind of as like a Black Widow replacement, but
Yeah.
to me, she's kind of surpassed Scarlett Johansson in like likability and the ability to like lead a movie. And I know
Okay.
Scarlett Johansson really never got that opportunity, but I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm just like, there's something about her compared to Black Widow that I like a lot more. With her character. But
Really? Really?
yeah, yeah,
That's.
man, yeah. I'm like, I don't know. Maybe it's the writing and the way that they did Black Widow's character for such a long time.
Mhm.
I'm like, I don't know. I feel like she's off to a way better start than what we got with Black Widow originally. But
Yeah, I agree with you.
Okay.
Yeah, the
yeah,
characterization is way better than Scarlett Johansson. 'Cause think about it, they
yeah,
brought Scarlett Johansson in originally as eye candy in Iron Man 2,
yeah,
and then they
Yeah.
characterized properly throughout the Avengers movies. Like, if you
yeah.
look at Age of Ultron, it's just like, what is this?
Well, yeah, with the whole Bruce
Yeah, what are we doing?
relationship. Yeah, yeah,
What are we doing here?
yeah,
And obviously, you give her a solo movie that's way too late in the game. That should have
yeah,
been immediately after Winter Soldier or something. Like, it would have made more
yeah.
sense.
And then you
So,
had Yelena pretty much outshine her in that movie too, which was like,
yeah,
okay, like, and I mean, I know that it was set up that way because it was like she's kind of supposed to take the mantle going forward now that she was dead.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, like Black Widow's, I don't know, her characterization really didn't get good until like the Infinity War, Civil War, Endgame trilogy. That was
Mhm.
really when I feel like they started improving her character. But with Yelena, it's like between Black Widow, Hawkeye, and now this, I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down for it, man. I'm down for it.
Oh
And
yeah.
then now they've got this whole marketing thing going on here, with the new Avengers titles. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, and I'm like, there's a lot of people who like are actually convinced that they like changed the title legitimately, and I'm like, guys, like the movie is not. It's not called New Avengers now. They're just doing that to kind of reveal what happens in the movie, and market it a different way in the second and third weekends.
Right.
But I don't know. I wasn't really like. I know we're kind of jumping around here, but I wasn't really a fan of how that whole ending, the way it played it out with her Valentina like tricking them into becoming the new Avengers. I'm like, that felt like it
Yeah,
was kind of.
yeah,
It felt like that was added in, and that was like, okay, we're trying to rush to Doomsday, so we gotta throw this in and make them the new
yeah.
Avengers. Yeah, and I mean, like you said too with Red Guardian, like he in the screening that me and JD were in, like a lot of his jokes landed, a lot of his jokes had the theater just like laughing out loud.
Mhm.
And I think his chemistry and humor is it's the typical like MCU humor, but I think it just works so
Yeah.
well for David Harbour because he's just such a good
Oh yeah.
actor. Yeah, man, yeah, the movie was, I don't know, it's like it was really good, and it was like really unexpected. It was kind of like in the Guardians way, where when that first came out, like nobody really expected that to be the hit it was. And similar to this, where it's kind of like a group of ragtag team that you know no one would really expect to be the heroes gets their
Yeah.
moment, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I completely enjoyed it, and where we're going, I see the vision. I see what's
Yeah.
happening here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like
So
that because it
yeah,
truly did like a Phase 2 film where it's okay.
yeah,
Here's a second outing with these characters. You already had their introductions in a prior movie or a prior show, and we're going to build upon that. But also, it's going to be a continuation in the universe. We have a path of what they're trying to do,
yeah,
so it makes sense
Well,
yeah,
instead of everything prior to this in this current phase has all been cameos and hey here's multiverse this and that and there's
yeah,
no solid overarching story. So this kind of
yeah,
like aligned everything. We know where we're going now. We have an
yeah.
Avengers because there was, if I'm not mistaken, there was actually no formed team in
No,
any shows or other movies. So it's like okay,
yeah,
we have an Avengers movie coming out. We have a lead into the next
yeah.
movie, and that movie's going to directly lead into the Avengers movie. So
yeah,
Yeah.
it feels like we're back on.
yeah. Like yeah, I think you said it perfect. It feels like Phase 2 MCU, where like, hey, the storylines are kind of starting to come to a head, and they're connecting with one another. The only problem with that though is it feels like Phase 2, but we have two movies or no, really one. We have Fantastic Four now, and
Yeah,
then we go straight into Avengers Doomsday. I'm like, and we kind of talked about
So
this in our group chat, Ronell, and I know you had kind of mentioned about all the delays and stuff,
yeah.
making it
Yeah.
worse. But
So do you guys think that because what we know from Kevin Feige, he's not one of those guys who uh because he's back like really getting involved, right? Like
yeah, so we're gonna kind of talk about that topic later, but
okay, okay, okay,
it's now been streamlined better at Marvel. It's not
okay.
like JD kind of said in the earlier Phase 4, Phase 5 projects, everything was scattershot. Nothing was really connecting, and there was just like way too much going on, right?
Right.
Um, so I think now that we're getting a little bit more streamlined, um, we're gonna start to get a little bit of better storytelling than what we were getting in the years past.
Yeah.
And then even too, like you kind of talked about the multiverse stuff. Like I liked that stuff. That was one of my like No Way Home, Deadpool and Wolverine were
Yeah.
one of my more favorite projects of this like post Endgame MCU. But you know, that's all because of like striking on nostalgia chords and things that we used to like, not what's happening right now. This felt like
Okay.
it's right now, homegrown MCU. These are all this universe characters, and we're
Yeah.
giving you a good story.
Yeah.
well, yeah. The biggest
So
thing you said right there is they had to write a story for them. They can't just
yeah,
throw it in characters that everyone loves and are nostalgic for, and everyone's just gonna be happy because they get to see him again. Because the other thing too is I wonder, we'll probably talk on it later, but just what type of contingency plan this was from
Yeah,
Pip.
yeah.
How much of the Thunderbolts actually was rewritten in the end? Like, was this initially like, okay, we'll have a Thunderbolts movie and it'll actually be Thaddeus Ross's Thunderbolts, and have
I see what you're saying. Yeah, I
yeah.
I tend to believe that I think originally, I tend to think that the main narrative of this film was probably still intact by the time we got to the end, because that's the thing that I think works the most about this film compared to previous MCU films, is that it feels like they had a script and they kind of stuck it out and didn't meddle with it and rewrite it and do reshoots. Like, even Brave New World. Like, I felt like Brave New World had, a million problems with it. And a lot of it was like, hey, this feels like it was just kind of mishmashed together. There are certain things I like, but it didn't work because of the fact that it was all over the place. This felt like it was consistently the same story that they were looking for. I do think that's why I kind of said to you guys before, I think the ending was the part of it that was like really changed. That's the part of it that felt weird leading into that ending to kind of get us to Doomsday and that setup for that. That's kind of where I was.
Let me ask you guys a question. Because maybe I'm not like, I don't think they usually, or they did this, because usually what they were doing was giving, and maybe we did touch on it, or maybe we're going to touch on it later. They were giving solo films. And so now are they using films like this to introduce other characters?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, well,
because think about it. If I'm okay, so maybe in JD, hasn't Century had his own comics?
Yeah, his first one, his own.
His own, yeah. So and he goes back how far? Like, he goes back a while, like.
Oh, it's only been he was like 2000. He's newer, but I think he had his initial run, and then after that, he was always in larger stories.
Okay, so then even with the Red Hawk, like, his character, he's, well, not so much Red Hawk, because he's been in, you didn't find out who he was until later on in the comic books. He was Thaddeus Ross. So I guess what I'm asking is, this is how it's gonna be now, like where they're introducing a main character in other, what I'm saying?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I mean, when you look back onto Phase 1 and 2, like that's kind of what the MCU did for a lot of the characters, right? Like they kind of, would have team up movies and then introduce, like in Age of Ultron, they introduced Vision, right? In Civil War, they introduced Black Panther and Spider-Man, like stuff like that. Like that's what I mean when I say like this film feels like old school MCU.
Okay.
Where it's like, we're really kind of trying to make plot threads and trying to connect them, not just let them, like before it was like, I don't know, like Eternals. Like when you look at that movie, the post-credit scene was fucking Harry Styles showing up as Thanos' brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, what is that? Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's not going to go anywhere until, a movie that's not going to get made with the Eternal sequel. Yeah. So it's just like things are kind of, they seem like they're getting back to the way they were, right? Where it was streamlined. We have one narrative. Yes, we're going to have a lot of characters, but we're going to give them the shine that they need, rather than, hey, we're just going to put you in a solo project over here and then never talk about you again. Like, for me, the post-Endgame character, like newer character that I liked the most out of the heroes was Shang-Chi. And it's like, that was a good movie. And we haven't seen him. We haven't seen him since. He's just been gone. Like, and we have no idea. He's pretty much, he's not showing up until Avengers Doomsday. So that, it's a little disappointing when that happens. So it shows to me like, hey, we're moving in the right direction. We're gonna give you, I have theories on, where Doomsday and Secret Wars and everything is gonna go, but it looks like we're on the right path going forward. So yeah.
Okay.
Anything else? Any of you guys want to add to Thunderbolts?
Nope, I'm good.
All good. All right. What's up, Darren? I don't know if you're still watching or not. I saw your comment earlier. Glad you're here. We will move on to the next topic. Now let's go to DC. The Sergeant Rick movie was canceled. I don't know who here is disappointed by that. I don't know.
I don't think I am. I think
A part of me is like, damn, same old DC, huh? Like we're just
yeah.
even
Well, I think
cast.
why. So, if I'm not mistaken, isn't this the movie that Colin Farrell was supposed to be in?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
It probably that was probably like, hey, well, we're canceling this because if we start filming on this before we make Batman 2, and that disrupts that and gets pushed back again, like they're not letting that happen. That's why I think it got canceled.
I'm gonna be honest. I think James Gunn wants to cancel Batman. I'm gonna be honest. That's kind of how I know.
That's
You know,
That-
which is nuts because especially after
Yeah.
Penguin, because right, like Batman was, it made a decent amount of money and was obviously critically received well, but there were still people who were kind of on the fence. And then I think Penguin kind of brought like everyone on board with that universe.
Oh, dude, yeah.
So good. I mean, like that TV show was insane.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, it was originally supposed to have Colin Farrell in it. So like that already right there is kind of creating some overlap and creating some sticky situations here. But yeah, like same old DC, just canceling projects and not sticking to their slate.
You know my gripe with DC is this. They had an opportunity to really take over once Marvel started to like dwindle. And they
Yep.
crapped the bed so bad, man.
Yep.
They crapped the bed so bad.
Yeah.
I don't get it. The storylines with DC, honestly, I think people are more prone to DC than Marvel. I'm a huge Marvel fan.
Yeah.
But you giving Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, Flash, those will sell more if you just do it right.
Yep.
So I don't understand what's going on, but who wants to see Sergeant Rick, Flash? Like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Who wants to see that?
Yeah. I think that's the problem too with someone like James Gunn running the universe. It's like the guy he's never made a bad comic book movie, in my opinion.
No.
But his specialty is taking like unknown characters and bringing them up and making greatness from it.
Yeah.
Which is why I think a lot rests on Superman's shoulders, because it's like, well, is it that he's really good at comic book movies, or is it that he's really good at this specific niche of comic book movies? Because if you can't make a good Superman movie, it's like, okay, this isn't off to a great start, but
right.
I mean, we'll see. It's disappointing because they had Luca Guadagnino, I think his name is, attached to it, which I don't know if you guys have ever seen Challengers. He was the director and writer of that. So it's like they had a good team involved with that film, but yeah, I don't know. Same old DC, right? Like canceling project. Although it was reported too the day after that it might not be canceled and they might still continue filming. That was why I kind of put the maybe on the title, because we don't really know where it's going at this point. So yeah, I don't know. Like you said, I think the best time after would have been like after Endgame for DC to kind of just come in and take over and fill that void. Yeah, and fill the void that they left, because it's never really it's been a rocky road since then, and DC never really recovered and produced anything good. So as a universe, right? They have obviously individual projects that are good, but the universe as a whole isn't. It's never been cohesive or really done anything, except with Zack Snyder.
That's it.
They didn't let him do it, So, all right. Any more thoughts on the very popular Sergeant Rick storyline?
No.
No.
All right, we can move on. Okay, so Jurassic World Rebirth is coming out, and there were some, details revealed. Basically, the director was talking about how, what differs this film from like the Jurassic World trilogy that came out a couple years ago.
Oh,
Which where do we all rank that like trilogy? Like, do you guys like any of the movies or just one of them?
first, second, and maybe the third. Maybe the ones when they had Chris. What's my boy?
Chris Pratt?
Star-Lord. Chris Evans. Oh, no, not Chris Evans. What's his name?
Chris Pratt, yeah.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Him being in the when he started being, I'm like, oh, they really got something, dude. This is starting to become like Fast and Furious. Like, I'm tired.
Yeah.
Coming
Well,
out with a
so I really liked the first Jurassic World with Chris Pratt, and then I feel like 2 and 3, like it just 3 really like the third one when they're like fighting, these bugs and shit, and Alan Grant's a spy and all that. I'm like, what am I watching right now? I mean, this is not Jurassic World. Yeah. It was like, I'm like, what is this? And that was obviously like advertised as like the final one and everything. And then 2 months later, they're like, oh, we're actually gonna do another one with everyone going. So yeah, so that the director came out for that the newer movie and kind of started talking about says, oh well, in that one they were kind of trying to do the concept of like the dinosaurs coming into our world, and now we're going back to theirs. And I'm like, okay, so you're doing every Jurassic World. 4 of the 6 Jurassic parks, you're basically doing the same thing that you did with those.
Yep.
Not exactly too excited about it, but I know you're Justin, you're a little bit more excited than anyone else on this.
No, not really. I mean, dinosaurs are always cool. I think I told you, Alan, when we saw the trailer, I'm like, I wish they would do a dinosaur movie and just not call Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Like, away from, hey, we have to go back to this island. Got to go back to the other island.
Yeah.
So,
Why is there always an island? Like there's like an extra island every single time.
Extra island, right?
Yeah, every time.
This?
It's like, oh, this one island that we didn't know about is over here with a bunch of dinosaurs. I'm like, damn, man, how many islands they got? Like,
wait, aren't they going back to Costa Rica or something like that? Or where was that island? They're going back to that island?
Yeah,
I
think it's yeah. So there's Site A, pretty sure was where the park was, and then Site B is where they created the dinosaurs. And that was Saw and Lost the World in the second one.
Yeah.
So I don't know which one.
Is that where they're going back to? Is that what it is?
Was that?
Is that the one they're going back to? The one from Lost World and Jurassic Park 3? Or
I'm pretty sure that has to be it.
Okay. So yeah, again, we're returning to the one that we've been to a million times already.
Yeah. So y'all ever watch Dinosaurs? The old show? The old show on ABC?
Yeah. I think I did when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's what they about to allude to. The dinosaurs are going to start talking, and you're going to have Jurassic World in space. You're going to have another 10 more movies. Just like I said, it's going to be
Fast
just
and
like
Furious.
Fast and Furious. Now we in space. Like I'm telling you, it's stop, man.
We can get a crossover going. Have Dom Toretto with a flying car come in and attack the dinosaurs.
Man.
Tell them it's all done for family.
Right, for family.
Yeah, I mean they're both Universal, right? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
they're both Universal. So
hey, you might as well just cross it over at this point. I mean,
yep.
How much
crazy
can you get?
And I guarantee Vin Diesel punches a dinosaur and knocks him out. So
yeah. No, he'll beat the dinosaur's ass. They'll fight in a fist fight.
Charger.
Yeah, and Vin Diesel will win. Yeah, and then too they also talked about how they're doing like the hybrid dinosaurs again. I'm like, we've already done this, a million times, and it's never worked. Like literally, the best Jurassic Park movies are when it's just the T-Rex. That's it, or the raptor.
That's it. Yep.
So doing this hybrid stuff again, I'm like, dude, this is
Yeah, if you need hybrids to make your dinosaurs more scary, then you're not writing your dinosaurs right.
Right. It's
correct.
a dinosaur.
Yeah, like how do you?
It's humans versus a dinosaur. That already alone should just be able to write itself. You should be able to think of scenarios that are actually compelling. That not
Yeah.
where, oh, we got to go get
It did.
this hybrid, and then have him be the big bad now. Like
Or go back to
I did like the one with Chris Pratt though. When Chris Pratt
the
was
first one,
explaining.
yeah,
Yeah, that
yeah,
I like
yeah,
that. I like that.
yeah. That one was okay.
That was fine, man. Like, okay,
Yeah.
but then keep doing this hybrid stuff.
Yeah, and then
They're
again,
starting to become like Wayland from Aliens.
yeah, the Wayland Corp, yeah,
Yeah, the Wayland Corp.
yep,
Oh,
yeah.
So
imagine like a newborn from what Alien Resurrection. For
Do a hybrid like that, yeah. Yeah, man. I don't know. It's like it's
that
just
was, yeah, I'm pretty sure that was a really a script in the early 2000s was them doing like hybrid human dinos that were super sold.
That's why I said dinosaurs. Yeah,
So,
that's exactly.
yeah, I don't know, man. That's like I want to be excited. I want to go. Like I want Jurassic Park movies to be good. Like I want that. That would make me happy. But we just keep getting dog shit at this point, And I hate to say that, but like it's like, come on, man. Like you said, Ryan, honestly, you're right. It's like, dude, they're gonna drag this out so long it becomes Fast and Furious, and then no one's really gonna want to.
Hey, as long as it keeps making $1 billion, there.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's a cult at this time. At this point, it's a cult. It's a following because that's the same with Fast and Furious. People just go and see it just to see it.
Well, I will say, so Fast and Furious has gone down every movie. The box office is finally dwindling. It took 10 movies, but it is finally starting to dwindle. So maybe eventually, people won't go see Jurassic Worlds, and if they're bad, right? Obviously, if they're good, it's going to make money. But if it continues to be bad, then maybe people will stop going, and then we can move on to something better or get some better, teams to make the movies, because I don't know what's going on here. I will say though, the only thing that they've talked about that I liked is that they did say they wanted to go more in the style of the books, where it was kind of more horror, and not this like action adventure that we've set up. So I'm like, if they actually do that, that might interest me. But I'm like, there's a lot of other red flags involved with this project where I'm like, that alone is not going to win me over. Like, we still got to do something good. So
yeah. Breaking news: Cavs lost.
Oh, did they really?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Are you being serious? No way.
By 1 point, game-winning shot,
dude. Literally before we went live, they were up by what? Oh yeah, they did. 121-19. Wow,
that was a good
That's
season.
Crazy. It's only 2-0, not too. We still can bounce back. We still can bounce back. Okay. Anything else on Jurassic World? Nope. Okay. Cool. I don't know if you guys heard about Hawkeye season 2. Did you guys hear anything about that with Jeremy Renner?
I haven't heard anything about it.
So they're I guess developing a Hawkeye season 2. They want to do it, but they offered Jeremy Renner half of his pay from the first season, which I'm like, okay, he's the titular character. What are we doing here? Like, I don't really understand. I have a theory. I don't know, how you guys feel about it. I have a theory that this is kind of an indication that Marvel is moving away from the Disney Plus shows and doesn't really want to do them. So they're kind of trying to negotiate their way out, maybe. Or maybe they're just going to pass the reins to Haley Steinfeld and let her lead the series.
That's dumb.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I feel like they're probably gonna have to pay her more than they were paying Jeremy Renner. Even if they gave him the season 1 salary, because now she's blowing up with Sinners and everything.
Sinners,
yeah, she's a bigger name now. So yeah, I mean, how do you guys feel about that? Do you have any actual excitement for a Hawkeye season 2? We'll just start there.
Not really. I mean, I'd rather just see any type of storylines with those characters integrated into the movies at this point.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they set a lot of things up with all these Disney Plus shows. It's like, okay, well, you can't keep running these shows out in season over season, and then it's not going to. It's supposed to be a shared world. It's not going to, cross over in any type of way.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think too
of the idea.
I think with Hawkeye, like that one was one of those early, obviously, Phase 4 and 5 MCU projects where it was like, this is basically just a movie that was like stretched out into 6 episodes. Like that's a problem that I think a lot of those early projects had, and I don't know, by them trying to just like totally, shortchange Jeremy Renner. I'm like, do they even really want to do this? Like, I don't really get it. Right? It doesn't make sense to me, but who knows?
I think they just keep trying to. Well, at that time they were trying to push this agenda because She-Hulk was terrible, and
Yeah.
like all at that time, like come on, man, you don't have to push this agenda, on folks. Like just make the material. Like how are you trying to? Because honestly, the whole Hawkeye series was about her, the whole girl.
Yeah, it was.
And it's like, how do you make that switch? Just switch us like that from a Hawkeye we've been used to since Thor. The first Thor. We've been used to him playing Hawkeye this whole time, and then you just make that switch. So I agree with you, Alan. Like I don't think they're they don't really want to do this anymore. They're trying to get back into what made Marvel so like good. Just put it in the movie.
Yeah. I think really the Disney Plus like era of Marvel and those shows actually did more damage than anything the movies did.
Oh, yeah.
There was definitely some like not great movies that released, like the Marvels and Thor: Love and Thunder, Eternal, stuff like that. Like there was movies that weren't great, but I think the like oversaturation with those Disney Plus shows is really what did it. And did either of you watch Daredevil Born Again?
Oh yeah, I was just about to say the only thing that's working for them is things like Daredevil and Punisher.
Yeah,
that works.
Yeah.
That works.
Yeah, and I think too it's because and now it seems like with the events of that show, obviously, spoiler alert for anyone who hasn't seen it, like with Kingpin taking over New York basically. And no one being involved besides Daredevil and Punisher, I'm like, okay, so I think they're trying to separate them again. They're trying to separate the TV from the movies and only have them cross over when like something really, really huge happens. Because like I don't know too, like, and then we got everything in Thunderbolts. I don't know if you guys have seen the meme of like, where the hell is Spider-Man at? Like, the boy's taking over downtown New York. Wilson Fisk has a whole like army going around and killing vigilantes, and like Spider-Man's just like chilling in his crib, not doing anything.
He's in Brooklyn. Right? No, what was that? Queens?
Is he?
Yeah,
I thought he was in downtown New York. At the end of No Way Home.
I thought. Yeah, it might have been. I mean, I'm just making this,
Yeah. You're trying to defend him, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to defend Spidey, man.
Yeah. No, I mean, we know it's the rights. That's like really the reason that he's not showing up. But it's just, I think it just shows that like they're trying to kind of separate it again. They're not trying to have all this narrative crossover and everything because it just didn't work. Even in that show, like Hawkeye, it was like they had Kingpin show up, and it was like totally not the Kingpin from the Netflix show at all. He was like wearing he was wearing like a big Hawaiian shirt. Like he was strong, but like it was just weird. He gets beat up by Kate Bishop. I'm like, what the hell is this? What am I watching? Like
Bishop, Bishop.
And then you see, in Born Again when he crushes the fucking commissioner's head with his bare hands. I'm like, yeah, that's Kingpin.
My God.
That was crazy. I was like, that's Kingpin right there.
I couldn't believe Disney. Well, no, I can because we got we got Deadpool, but it was expected with that. But I really didn't think they would go that with the TV.
Yeah. I didn't think that in an episode where Punisher had just been back and like literally just murdered like 50 people that Kingpin was going to have the grossest moment of the show. That was that kind of blew my mind a little bit. So I'm like, usually when Punisher comes through, he's Punisher. what he's supposed to be. That's why I love that iteration of the character, But so yeah, if Disney Plus never makes a show again, I'm fine with it. At least one that's like, how the old versions were. If they get like actual TV shows, I'm cool with that, but not these like extended movies. Did we lose Ronell?
Yeah, it looks like we lost.
I think we did. Okay, I'll see. Oh, hold up. He might be back.
Yep.
Nope, never mind. Okay. Well, when he jumps back in, he can come back. Did you have anything else to add to that, JD?
Nope, nothing else.
Cool. Next thing, I don't know if you read the report. Have you seen the Knives Out movies?
Yes, I'm a big fan of them.
Big fan. Definitely one of my favorites, like modern murder mystery films that we got. Rian Johnson obviously has a deal with Netflix to do the first three. We already got, or not the first three, but like the next three after the original. We got the last one, Glass Onion, last year. And he's got the new one coming out. I can't remember what the name of it was. I think it was Wake Up Dead Men. And I guess he is kind of in a let me let Dan Ronell back in here real quick. You hear? Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear me?
You good? Yeah, I can hear you. So we were just talking about Rian Johnson with the Knives Out movies on Netflix.
Yeah.
He is going to be, I guess, making a pretty big push to have these movies released in theaters rather than on Netflix. Which I agree with. Like I went and saw Glass Onion, which is the last one that was on Netflix in a limited release in theaters. Movies like that should not be on Netflix. I mean, that's just where I'm at with it. So what do you guys think? Do you agree or what? Or do you like watching movies on Netflix?
No, I agree. The problem is Johnson signs a contract with Netflix, who's completely against having their movies in theaters. So it's like, okay,
yeah,
didn't have signed that contract.
yeah.
That's
and he's getting paid a ridiculous amount of money from that contract.
I mean, I don't blame. But you can't get mad at what their strategy is that you signed up for.
Yeah, which you knew beforehand. Yeah. I'm that way too. I'm with you on that. Two of those movies, like I don't even feel like there's an end for those movies. Like they can go forever.
Oh yeah, you can go.
Benoit Blanc can take that franchise on for as long as he wants. So if I'm him, like once this deal is over, I think it's only this movie. I could be wrong. There might be one more movie. It's either this movie or another one. Once he's done, he should definitely either shop the movie to other platforms or get it into theaters, which is what they should do. So yeah, I mean, where you at with that? Did you see those first two Knives Out movies, Rhino?
Yeah, I think I saw the first one and was like, wow. Like I like Knives Out. And so
Yeah.
Like I'm with you. I think it's one of those movies that you can do, constantly do. Putting it on Netflix though, like, yeah, I don't know about that.
You're just limiting who sees it. And I know
Yeah.
Netflix is like the biggest streamer, they have the most subscribers, but I'm like, man, put it
Nah,
out on the big screen, man.
You put the Irishman on Netflix, but you got to put that one.
Yeah, fucking 4 hours long. I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah.
Like at least with Zack Snyder's Justice League, like we got an epic film that didn't put me to sleep. But
right, yeah, we
that
did
was the
take an
Irishman,
intermission though.
we did, yes, we did. I do remember. Yeah, we did do that. So yeah. But yeah, I mean the whole Netflix debate, the whole Netflix versus theater debate, and I know you weren't on last week, Justin, but we talked about the CEO talking about how consumers don't want the movie theater experience anymore, and it's like, how can you say that when Sinners comes out and for an original movie is breaking all these records domestically, so in the States where most of the money comes from, and then you have a Star Wars re-release.
How much you want to bet he went to go see Sinners?
I would literally bet my life on it. Yeah. I would bet my life on it. Yeah. So it's just, I don't know. The whole debate of streaming versus theatrical to me is just, it's tiresome because it's there's nothing that's ever going to replicate that experience of going to the movies, man. That's
not
Yeah.
It's a completely different type of media.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Netflix. I love having movies at home to access and watch, but
Convenience is great.
oh, it's amazing. But you know,
watching experience, it's not going to compare to going to the
yeah, especially for movies like that like elicit emotion and reactions. Like, could you imagine if it was just like we went and saw Thunderbolts and watched it by ourselves in our living room? Like, it's not gonna hit the same, you know? Like, that's just not gonna happen. And you know, we kind of got 2020.
Netflix.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, you know what I use Netflix for? I watch Castlevania and cartoon movies and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
stuff like that, man.
No. Yeah, not a big movie like that. I mean, and like I was gonna say, they did. You know, in 2020, we got the experiment where like everyone was basically releasing their movies like day and day on streaming, and most of those movies didn't do good and didn't really get like the reception. Like when you think of like the Suicide Squad, James Gunn's version, like if people had to go to the theater and see that together, like I feel like that would have got a better reception and would have made a lot more money than it did. But you know, whatever. Streaming sucks. I'm kind of there with it.
Yeah.
You know, because it's even between that and then like the debate of like, hey, is getting 8 episodes of television every 3 years better than what we used to got? I'm like, nah, this is
Don't even get me started on that.
Yeah. Stranger Things. What are y'all doing, man? Come on.
It's been years.
Yeah. So okay. So yeah. Literally, yeah, but then you know, The Walking Dead does a fucking spin-off and a season every single year, still to this day. But yet again, you know, we can't get an episode of Stranger Things for 5 years. I don't understand it. Makes no sense. Okay, so next topic. I don't think this was really announced. This was just kind of like put out there that you know, Ryan Reynolds is supposedly writing like a Deadpool X-Men team up movie, which you know I'm not opposed to. I definitely like Ryan Reynolds.
Do it.
Yeah, like I'm definitely not opposed to it. My first thought in my mind came to like, is this going to be like an actual X-Force movie? That was where I was leaning. Like, I don't know about how you guys feel about it, because you know, like the one we got in Deadpool 2 was like really more of a gag and a
well, you know,
thing.
you're dealing with Disney this time, so they got the money.
Got the money, yeah, to actually have some like real X-Men. You know, I mean, that was a funny joke where he's like, "Oh, you couldn't afford any of the good X-Men," and then you know they're all in the room. And he's like, just shuts the door on them. I was like, yeah, that was funny, but
and,
so, yeah,
and I'm not
are you
opposed to
guys
seeing a beast, what like we saw in the Marvels movie when at the end credit. Give me that beast. Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm down for it.
Did you prefer like the CGI or did you like the original?
Man, it's Beast. Like, yeah, like you gotta put you kind of gotta put Beast in the same category as the Thing and the Hulk. Not as far as you know, but just the way he's made up. You can't, because to me, old boy looked like a wolf in the X-Men. It was like he was more like Teen Wolf type of look.
Yeah.
No, give me that.
Especially
beast.
In the prequels. Yeah, especially in the prequels. I was like, wolf. Yeah, he looked like a baby there.
I thought it was Michael J. Fox, man. Yeah,
yeah,
I'm cool. So yeah, I'll rather see the.
Yeah, and I wondered. I mean, I kind of thought originally when Deadpool and Wolverine was coming out that they were kind of going to do like a Deadpool kills the X-Men type situation, and I'm like, I feel like that's still on the table, right? Like now that we're getting
Ryan Reynolds.
MCU. Yeah, you know, I mean, you can't really like, even though he's you know now a part of the MCU and like the events of his movies are canon and stuff like that, you can't really take it 100% serious because he breaks that fourth wall, man. That's
oh, dude, yeah.
You know, and he's fantastic in that role. I don't think anyone else could really pull that off but him. So
no. You can't get nobody else to play that role.
No. It's kind of like Hugh Jackman. They're gonna play it till they're 90. Yeah.
I tell you guys, I don't know if you remember my argument was I'd rather have the Wolverine from the comics, and then they answered my question with Deadpool versus Wolverine when he showed up at the bar, and you see
Yeah.
that 5'3" Wolverine, and I'm like, okay, Marvel, you're
Never
right.
mind. Yeah, never
Never
mind.
mind.
Yeah, we're
This
good
is
on that. Yeah. I mean, they
So
could still get a in the future they can get a shorter actor, but yeah, the 5'3" thing, come on,
yeah,
mate. Yeah, we can't do
it
that.
only works in comics, so I get it. I get it.
Yeah. There's some things that can work in the comics that can't work in the movies, right? Like you
Oh
can't.
yeah.
Yeah, not everything translates, right?
Yeah, that's
Well,
true.
they can only work with what they can work with. So
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Any
if
oh yeah, go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, but if they do this, I'm like, if they're going in this direction that they're going, like what I seen from Thunderbolts, and what I think I'm gonna get from Fantastic Four, and then Ryan Reynolds at the helm of this whole thing, writing and stuff, I'm all down for that. I'm all
Oh
down
yeah.
for that. You already
Yeah.
know my only gripe. We talked about it last week. Was that cast for Avengers Doomsday?
Yeah.
But again, I'm going with it. So
Yeah.
yeah, give
Yeah.
me everything, man.
Yeah. What about you, Justin? How did you feel about the Doomsday cast?
So, well, let me speak on this Deadpool rumor first.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah.
I don't like the idea of it. I
Okay.
kind of yes, because okay, we already did, our wave goodbye to Fox X-Men. You have the humor, you're done with it. Can we just do a clean slate and get an actual X-Men team together?
That
That's
I can agree with that. Yeah, I can agree with
Yeah.
like retreading things, which
Yeah.
okay, I guess it's fine for Doomsday. Kind of expected that it was gonna happen in Secret Wars, so that's
Yeah.
fine. That's expected. But from then after that, I want them to actually focus on X-Men and do it properly instead of taking pieces from pre-existing universes and throwing stuff together.
Yeah.
With
Yeah.
with Deadpool being the linchpin to that, which is more of a human character. I get very tired very quick. We need to get proper X-Men movies.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it.
So I guess then it would just depend on the timing, right? Like when is this going to come out? When are we actually going to see this movie? Because if it's post Secret Wars, obviously we all have theories that that's when they're going to streamline everything again. There's really not going to be a multiverse, and we're going to get that younger cast of X-Men that Kevin Feige and Marvel is going to have control over.
Yeah.
Then I'm okay with it if it's before then. But yeah, I think. Well, I don't know though, because I feel like Deadpool is definitely a character that he'll be able to interact with both casts, right? He can do if they end up doing it. But then you're right. Then it kind of changes the tone and everything. That was what a lot of people complained about with Deadpool and Wolverine.
Here's our mutant saga. We're taking it off with Deadpool, and Ryan Reynolds wrote it.
Yeah, I see. I see that point. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, you have to
at least give us a few X-Men. Get us out of the mind of the X-Men that we had before, and give us something good, clean, and then we can get the plan. So I get that.
Yes.
Yeah.
We need to lay the foundation first for this new, and then go back into all different routes.
Yeah. So then, did you agree more with Ronell, where you weren't a huge fan of the announcements of all the old X-Men and Doomsday, or are you okay with it for these two movies?
I'm fine with it for these two movies. I really thought that would have been Secret Wars, though.
That's what I said. Yeah, that's what I said. I thought Doomsday was kind of going to be the 616 main MCU Avengers losing to Doom, and then in Secret Wars, changing it up. But I think maybe that was the original plan in King when it was King, right? But I feel like they kind of diverged from that and kind of changed everything up once they got him out of there. But
it was probably that, and just seeing the success of Deadpool and Wolverine, and going, okay, look, actually, people actually do have love for these Fox characters. Let's squeeze drop of juice out of them before we throw them away and retire them. So this this is their final go. And that's what I'm trying to say. I want this to be their final go. I don't want to be like,
Yeah, you don't want it to be
keep going with the Deadpool route, and okay, we had some new characters, but hey, here's Hugh Jackman and a couple other older. Here's some again, like from what's his face? Like, okay, here we go. Like, I don't want that.
Yeah,
It's like
I want a proper Cyclops.
90, man. Like playing,
not to learn 90.
yeah, he's playing Magneto.
Now, like, yeah, dude, I don't know how like Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart are still doing this. Like, they're ready to be shipped off to the senior homes at this point. Holy shit!
Right,
I'm like, dude, these guys, they really are 90 already. Like, what are we doing here?
Come on, man. It's like watching Chuck Norris bags.
Yeah,
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, right. Literally, no, yeah, no one wants to see that, honestly. So yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's just so like for you, like, do you want Deadpool 2 to be done once Secret Wars passes?
I want Deadpool to continue, but I think it needs a break because I think they
From
really
X-Men.
need. Yeah, you either do like some individual stuff with him if they really need to have a movie come out soon, which they showed that doesn't have to be soon. They did. It was how long of a gap between Deadpool 2 and then Deadpool Wolverine.
Yeah,
they really
take
need
a break.
That groundwork for that next generation. It's supposed to be the new saga after this. Like, you need to set that up.
Yeah, I agree.
Add Deadpool in and he could be a little dick and an asshole to everybody. That's what that new cast.
Yeah, I think too. You could even if you move them away from the X-Men, like you can have them if you're going to have other characters in the movies. You could do like Avengers characters. You don't need
that works too.
X-Men. You know, like depending on what they do, obviously with Secret Wars and stuff, you could bring in any other people, and it'll work. But so yeah. All right. Well, any final thoughts on that? Cool.
Nope.
All right. So now we'll kind of segue into some of the reports that have been coming out about Marvel. There's a lot of reports about what was going on at Marvel in the early 2020s. I say that like it was fucking 15 years ago, but whatever. There was reports about what was basically going on in those early days before Bob Iger came back, and it was still Bob Chapek, and how essentially Kevin Feige was reportedly like stretched so thin that like showrunners or directors and showrunners of the TV shows and the movies would like have to hunt him down just to get his input on these projects and kind of get his notes on what he thinks will work. JD, I'll kind of let you start off. Like, what when you hear these reports, like, what do you think, and what are your thoughts on it?
I think it just goes back to what we were saying before with the Disney Plus shows. Was maybe Kevin bit off more than he could chew with trying to kick off this new phase post Endgame world and try to do all these fun little projects. And also, I feel like they were trying to let more creative people take reins on things, like other types of directors that they normally wouldn't, be like, hey, lead a Marvel movie for us, where everyone always, makes the joke like, okay, it's already, you're just there as a figurehead. Everything else is going to take care of itself because of it's a machine. Yeah. It's like they tried to do that with like Eternals, like trying to add different types of directors in there, then trying to do all
getting someone like Chloe Zhao, who's like I think she's got like an Oscar for writing. Yeah. To kind of lead that project and take it off. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, okay, how are you gonna try to maintain a cohesive universe when you are letting people have more freedom with what they're trying, like having more directors have more freedom in what they're trying to create, as well as trying to create a million different TV shows all at once, and then trying to thread a plot line through all that. Yeah. I mean, it makes sense.
It makes sense,
And I'm assuming COVID probably had a lot to do with what a lot of those post Endgame were as well, with schedules of what they were shooting, what they were planning on creating. I know, there's a ton of shows that got canceled too. Can you only imagine what initially before? Yeah. Okay, we're gonna have and different Disney Plus TV shows, and then what 3 or 4 movies a year.
Yeah, it was crazy.
They bit off more
It
than
was
they could.
crazy.
That was, and it was trying to be too ambitious in thinking that Marvel thought they were bigger than they actually were almost.
Yeah.
So
I don't think it was. I don't know if it was necessarily Feige though. Like I feel like to me that like now it screams to me that it was like the old regime at Disney, and they were just like, "Hey, we have this new streaming service coming. We need you to just like overload this thing with content."
Oh yeah, no, I don't
And,
think at all. It was
and still make the movies, which
Yeah.
like that alone, it's like that's
Like-
nuts. That's just way too much.
good luck. Like,
Yeah, like
Yeah,
no one,
yeah.
and then even someone like Kevin Feige, who is obviously brilliant, right? And what he's done with Marvel has been insane. He's not gonna be able to
Yeah.
pull that off. Like it's just not. It's not realistic. It's not a possibility. But what about you, Ronell? I mean, does this make a lot of
No,
sense to you?
yeah,
Like
I
it
think
does to
COVID
pretty
did.
much everyone.
Yeah, I agree with Justin on the COVID thing. I'm thinking like one of the reasons why I like Kevin Feige is that he's a comic book guy. That's why it works so well, you know, before. And so like when you're trying to give, like you said, it just sounds like too many Chiefs and not enough Indians. They
Yeah.
just kind of spread it and let people do, and it's like, no, that's not what worked. If it ain't broke,
Yeah.
don't fix it.
Yeah.
I would have threw all kind of money at the Russo brothers to keep going with this thing. You know what I'm saying? Instead of doing this whole, I gotta come back. Like I get it. People like actors get tired of playing a role. I don't think Robert Downey Jr. really got tired of playing Iron Man. I don't think
Yeah.
for the right amount of money, I think Chris Evans would have stayed Cap. We're not gonna get tired of seeing them guys. And so trying to go through these whole new different angles, the Marvels suck big time. It was so many things that just sucked, man. That could have been good. I'm with you guys. Yeah, this just
It's not surprising. Like
no.
when you hear these reports, you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's what we thought. Like that's what we thought. That's why it wasn't working for so long. And now, as we talked about before, hopefully now it's going into a different direction where it is going to work and is going to be a little bit more streamlined. I think
just really bad, man.
Yeah, I think part of it they said now they're only going to do 2 films or 2 or 3 films a year, and then 1 or 2 shows per year. Which I'm like, okay, that's more doable. That makes more sense, especially too if you're doing it like how you kind of do it with Daredevil, where we keep it a little bit separate. Yeah, like they'll reference each other, and like events it's still the same universe, but like it's not all like one big thing like it was originally. I think that'll definitely work the best. And then also too, he did say that he has a 10-year plan for X-Men. So I know, Justin, you're probably pretty happy to hear something like that, where you're like, oh,
that's
okay.
People
that's what we all want.
And we're bigger than Avengers.
Oh yeah,
always were bigger than Avengers. So,
dude, the Avengers was like the 4th best team on in Marvel's roster for like ever until the movies. Really. And now they're not even really like the Avengers team. Like when we say we're getting an Avengers movie, it just means like everybody in the universe is showing up.
Yes.
But we don't we don't need another Avengers, right? We just need you to bring all of these other characters off. Just throw us all these characters, man. You got the X-Men thing you could do for a long time. I think honestly, you could honestly get the X-Men thing going just like the Avengers thing. You got the Fantastic Four now. You got man, you got so much stuff that you can really put out there. You know what I'm saying? So like, dude, if you got this plan, you don't have to keep doing Avengers. Like, we get it.
Yeah, that's why it's like weird. It's like it's not really even a team anymore. It's just like, hey, when we have our big, like, hey, all these different teams are coming together, it's going to be called Avengers, right? It's Avengers, which I mean makes sense because it's kind of what really. I mean, that original Avengers team, we only got them like together in one movie, really, like for the whole movie, and that was Age of Ultron. And you know,
Yeah.
they weren't even really like a team. Like I've seen some people say that like, oh, the Thunderbolts are already more of a team and like a family than the Avengers were. And I'm like, damn, that's kind of true. Like when you
That
watch it, you're
is
like,
true.
man, that
Yeah.
actually, yeah. I'm like, that's actually kind of true, which is nuts because
Well, look how
they've
often
had
the
all,
Avengers fought. They fought in the
yeah,
first.
yeah,
They're a
in the
team,
first movie, yep,
but then
Or Civil War, they was all together. They was fighting, but they was all together.
yeah, yeah,
or it ends with each other.
yeah, yeah. It's like, yeah, that's it's never been like a real like
Yeah.
strong foundation of a team. That's just never really existed. You know, like the two leaders were Cap and Iron Man, who basically were at each other's necks until the very last, like until Thanos showed up. They basically were like, did they even like each other? Like, did they even want to be in the same room with one another?
They're just all a bunch of
Right.
kids. That's it.
Yeah, they were coworkers. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, you treat them like how you would your coworkers, pretty much.
Right.
So yeah, but yeah, I mean, again, you know, just kind of just wrap that up. Like all those reports make sense. I mean, I'm hoping and I'm praying that we're moving forward and we're not going to have chaoticness like that again. I hope they can,
Gotta hope
you
they
know,
learn.
really. Yeah, let's hope they learned their lessons, which I think they did. You know, and that's. But even though I didn't like Captain America: Brave New World, I felt like okay, there's enough in here that tells me like, hey, they want to make this work and they know what they did
Right.
wrong.
Right.
And then now in Thunderbolts, you get a good story with the connections and with things working the way they're supposed to. So,
Right.
yeah, all signs are pointing towards like we're moving back in the right direction.
Mm.
So, alrighty, so let's kind of switch it up a little bit. I know we've been talking about Marvel for a minute. Sinners, still continuing to just have very strong legs at the box office. I guess in the third weekend domestically, so this is just in the U.S., it had only a 28% drop. And, you know, I know we talked about last week, Ronell, it only being 10% on week 2. So, you know, 28% on week 3 that would have been an insane week 2. 28% would have been.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So I guess it's the second biggest third domestic weekend at the box office for an R-rated film, and it beat Oppenheimer and Joker. So that kind of shows you the legs that this film has, and how much money it's making, especially domestically. Like it's really making a lot of its money in the U.S. Yeah, I mean, like, what do you guys think about that? Like, how long is this movie going to make money for? Like, I mean, where are we looking at here? Even with all the movies that are coming out.
They look like they're gonna be
At some point later in the year. Like I know, Alan, you mentioned it coming out probably around Halloween. I could definitely.
Yeah, they should do that. They should 100% do that. Yeah.
Before awards for next
Yeah.
year. This movie is going to get nominated with a ton of things.
Yeah, I agree.
And deservedly so. I mean, this is the best movie of the year thus far. It's going to be very hard to beat it. Yeah, and it shows. I mean, with the box office continuing to be
to be this strong.
Yeah, it's a great movie. People keep seeing. I would imagine there's multiple repeat viewings. I mean, I'm still thinking about our initial viewing. It's been what 3 or 4 weeks. I'm like, I want to
see it again. Yeah,
IMAX.
Yeah. Well, they did the re-release in IMAX because obviously Thunderbolts came out, so that was a lot of the IMAX screenings, and so it was only limited. They only did it in like a certain number of cities, and those screenings all sold out, which is insane. Like when you think about that, it's like, how is this movie when there's a Marvel movie out right now?
Yeah.
How is this movie getting that many tickets taken away from it? And it's only what's crazy is it keeps having these. Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, to me, it's like Sinners was better than Thunderbolts. As much as I love Thunderbolts, Sinners is still the best movie of the year for me. But, and it's only past 200 million, which is kind of crazy because that doesn't seem like a lot. But like for an original film, that's a lot. Like that's for an original horror film, R-rated vampire historical drama. Like this is not a movie that's usually like doing numbers like this at the box office.
right.
And domestically too. Like that's, usually like it's spread, especially with like a Marvel movie. Like it's like, yeah, it'll make a lot of money domestically, but it'll also bring in a lot too internationally. It's like, truthfully, it's really not doing all that well internationally, but the fact that it's putting up these numbers just in the U.S. alone, I mean, it kind of just shows you how much people are loving it and how strong its legs are.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I definitely want to go see that. I've more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I want to rewatch that movie so bad.
Ryan, did you go see it yet?
I have reasons. I'm gonna tell you guys the text, but I've not seen it
Okay,
yet.
I gotcha. Yeah, I gotcha. Okay, are you guys either of you play Elden Ring?
No.
No, but
No.
I've
Okay.
watched. I've watched. I've watched people play, like stream playing.
Yeah.
From what I'm hearing about it's pretty good.
Yeah. I've played that style of game, not like Elden Ring specifically, but like the stuff like Demon Souls and Bloodborne, stuff like that back in the past. I played games similar to it.
Yeah,
But obviously they just announced today that they're doing like an Elden Ring movie.
yeah, yeah,
Which I
yeah.
don't really know. I don't know how that's gonna work. Really too much. It's at A24 who's gonna do it. And Alex Garland is set to direct. I don't know if you guys are familiar with his work. Recently, he did Civil War, and then he also did Warfare, which I actually had saw the day before Thunderbolts, which is like a fantastic film.
Okay.
And yeah, he's a very specific director. He has good films. Some films I wasn't a huge fan of, but yeah, his style is very unique and stuff. So I'm kind of looking forward to this. Do you guys have? I mean, I know you're not fans of the game, so do you guys have any excitement for a film of Elden Ring?
If they do it like Warcraft was good. I didn't think Warcraft, to me, it wound up being a good movie. So anytime if they can do something like that, I'm all for it. Um,
Yeah,
because that it's kind of, to me, it's somewhat kind of hard to do like game movies.
yeah,
Um, because there's so much involved. But I think if they do something like that, again, like I said, I was shocked that Warcraft was good. So I'm
yeah,
down for that.
yeah.
I can get behind
Uh,
that.
Yeah, I feel like too that style of game is kind of hard to adapt because there's not really like a story per se. Like it's not,
Yeah,
it's easy to adapt like a Last of Us, right? Because like that's just an entirely story based game. But
yeah,
when you get a
yeah.
game like this, it's a little bit harder. So that's why I'm like, okay, I kind of see maybe if you bring in someone with like a unique vision like Alex Garland, maybe get a
Right.
good script going. It could work. It could work.
Yeah.
Not, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not jumping for excitement with it when I see it. Really, just the Alex Garland one was him being attached is the one that kind of has been like, okay, this could be something.
Mhm.
We can maybe do something here.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of it is coming from the confidence of video game adaptations at this point,
yeah,
because it's almost like a renaissance.
yeah,
Because you
yeah, it's
have,
weird.
you have shows, you have like The Last of Us, you have Fallout,
Yeah,
very
yeah,
good, highly rated shows, and then you have a lot of video game movies coming out, like Ronell mentioned with Warcraft, and then the Dungeons and Dragons movie was solid, and then
I heard that was good. I didn't get to see it, but I heard that was really
Yeah.
good.
so, like you have that, and
Yeah,
then like Nintendo coming out with a Super Mario Brothers movie, and then Minecraft. Obviously, these movies are made for kids, but
yeah,
studios are like, oh well, we were figuring out how to make them now compared to the past because all the other
yeah,
last 20 years adaptations of video games were pretty bad for the
oh
most
yeah,
Yeah.
part. So
yeah,
it's like we're getting to a time where they're finally figuring out how to adapt them, and it's giving them confidence to maybe take on a game like Elden Ring, especially
yeah,
especially for A24 to do it as well.
yeah, yeah. That's what I'm like.
That's
That's interesting. Yeah,
that's what I'm most intrigued is this the studio and with Garland directing,
yeah.
like this could be it's either
It
gonna
could
be
be something.
or it's gonna be the worst thing ever.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, 99% of the time with the video game adaptations, it's like they're shit because of the fact that they're like, hey, we're going to make this a video game movie in name only and then just like not do anything that was the game was based off of. And I think that's why this renaissance is happening, is because a lot of these projects are like actually faithfully adapting the game. Like I went and saw Until Dawn a couple weeks ago, which was one of my favorite horror video games of all time, and it was the same thing with that movie, where it was like they just didn't do the story of the game; they did something completely different, and then just called it Until Dawn. And yeah, I mean, it was a it was a pile of shit. I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat it. It wasn't great. So yeah, when I hear something like this, and then like I said, with something like Elden Ring, it's like it's not really a story-based game, so they kind of have a little bit more liberty of what they can do, and then doing it at A24 with someone like Alex Garland, I'm intrigued. I'm intrigued. We'll see. Let me see a trailer.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll be on board. So
I mean,
all right,
Middle Earth stuff always works. So anything Middle Earth,
Yeah.
They can do it. Yeah.
yeah.
I didn't get to see Warcraft though. I didn't know.
Check it out, man.
When did that come out?
It's oh man, what was that, JD?
2019.
10 years ago.
It wasn't that long.
Wow.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Or maybe it was. Oh, God.
Yeah, when we say
that's what I'm
2018,
thinking, like, yeah,
2019, it's been
yeah.
7 years. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good watch though. And I wasn't really a big fan of the game. I knew about it, but then when I watched that movie, I'm like, oh, this is pretty solid.
Pretty good. Yeah.
That's solid.
I'll have to give it a watch. Maybe it'll kind of give me a little bit of idea, maybe of what I can expect here from that. But okay, so we'll just talk about the last topic. I don't know if you guys got to watch it. Did you guys watch the trailer for Together?
Yes.
Dude. Yeah.
So when I was watching, I've been hearing about this movie for like months, since like November. Because they've been showing it like at a lot of festivals that are going around the country and stuff. And like everyone has been like almost every time they'll be like, "Oh, what was your favorite movie of the festival?" And they're like, "Together." This movie is insane. And I watched that trailer and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I don't know what I'm watching right now. And the first thought that came to my mind is like, okay, The Substance was such a big hit last year. We're not going to go into a little bit of a craze where we're getting a lot of body horror films, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, what did you guys think with the trailer and interest levels? Where are they at?
I'm interested.
Yeah.
I don't like that the trailer gave away too much, as per usual. I feel like there's some scenes that they definitely could have just left out, especially the end of the trailer. But
bro, when she brought out that saw, I was like, okay, nope. Like nope. I'm not watching. I'm not watching during that scene. I'm not doing it. I can't.
But I think it's gonna be good. I mean, from what I understand, it's like a metaphor for codependency with them being a horrible couple, but they're relying on each other to the point they need each other to the point where they're basically gonna be the same person.
Yeah.
Which is
that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from it too. Yeah. Which I mean, that's why I said I definitely felt the Substance parallels.
That's the thing I know was this written and put into production before The Substance came out?
I think so, but we all know that like Hollywood tends to know like what type of movies are coming out and what they're doing, because when you look at like, I mean, and there's always times where like there's movies that are coming out that are like weirdly similar, and it's like, how did this happen at the same time almost? Like I don't understand how Hollywood does that every so often, but yeah, from my understanding, like I said, I think it was starting to show at festivals in like November.
Okay.
So it's obviously been shot and like filmed and edited for quite some time. So, but yeah,
I'm really excited to see them two as a real life husband and wife to see how they're
how it translates. Yeah,
on screen with these characters. That's interesting too.
Yeah, and I think I mean usually that translates well, right? Like usually when it's a couple in real life going into a movie playing a couple, it's usually pretty good, and I think that can definitely affect like some of the more like tension-filled, horror-filled scenes that they're gonna have. But Yeah, like even the scene, like some of the clips that they showed you of like the cult and all that, I'm like, whoa, like that was
Yeah.
where are we going here? Like, yeah, I'm a little I'm intrigued for sure. And like I said, I've heard nothing but great things about it, so I'm definitely checking it out. But I was kind of watching that trailer, like, whoa, like what is this gonna be on it? Like, truthfully, like I know you know you talked about how like it's the themes of codependency and stuff, but like, where's this film gonna go? Because the same with The Substance. Like when I watched it, I watched the trailer, I thought, okay, I know kind of where the storyline's going here, and then I watched the movie, and I was like, well, that was batshit insane. I did not predict where that was going. So, yeah. So yeah, I mean, yeah, we'll see. I think it'll be pretty good. But yeah, if anything else to add from either
Not
of you
on that
gentlemen?
one. Yeah,
Okay.
just from the trailer, yeah, it I'm with JD. I wish they wouldn't have shown much.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But from what they shown, it's like, what? Now you gotta, yeah, you just
Yeah.
okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
I'm with it.
That first trailer really didn't show you anything. Like it just kind of gave you. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
watched that one. Like the teaser they released a couple months ago, it gave you a little bit, but nothing even close to what that trailer gave us.
They must have got some feedback that said, "Hey, man, this ain't gonna be a good." So yeah, let's show something to get people
Yeah.
intrigued. So
Yeah, one of the guys I follow on YouTube, he had said like the first trailer didn't give anything away, but it also like made like it presented the movie in a different way than what actually happens. So like maybe they were afraid that like people were going to be like n- deceived, right, about like what the movie actually is going to be, and that was why they were like, all right, let's put it front and center. Let's kind of tell you what's going on here. So.
yeah.
So yeah, okay, but yeah, that's really all I got for topics today, and you know we're about an hour and a half in now. So yeah, any last thoughts on anything or anything you guys want to talk about?
No, I think we touched up. I was wondering, man, I did have something. Maybe we can save it for the next time. But I
Yeah,
had something I wanted to hit on.
yeah,
Uh, So I'll
yeah,
probably send it to you in the group.
for sure, for sure. And then next week I'll be on vacation, so there won't be a show next week.
Okay.
So you know if you guys come back on, or you know whoever comes back on next the week after that, we'll obviously probably have a lot to talk about. So
Oh yeah,
won't be
yeah, definitely.
won't be a light show, that's for sure. Although, like last couple of weeks, I'm like, there's been a lot of stuff that's dropped like day or two before the show. I'm like, damn. Like on Sunday, I'll be looking at the list and I'm like, man, there's really not a lot to talk about. And then like 10 different things drop on Monday and Tuesday. I'm like, oh, all right, we're good. We definitely got a lineup here. So yeah. All right, so yeah, we're gonna get out of here. Yeah, it was great to have you guys on. I'm glad we finally got to do the movie nerds trio here and
Absolutely.
get us on a podcast. I'd love to have you guys back on, you know, whenever you want to come back, just let me know.
Yeah.
My boy Medee said good job. Appreciate that, sir. Appreciate it. I'd keep trying to get him on, but he doesn't want to come on. So, you know,
Who,
I'll
Dave?
have to bully him. No, my guy, my one buddy Medee.
Oh, Badis. Okay.
Yeah, when I was doing like Dexter streams and stuff, he was a big fan of that. I was trying to get him on, but he didn't want to come on. I was like, all right, that's cool.
Okay. Okay.
So, all right, well, everyone, we're gonna get out of here. Everyone, have a good night.
All right, man.
It was a pleasure.
Peace. All right. Yes, absolutely.
All right.